Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the M18 Hellcat. It's the American Tier 6 turreted tank destroyer, and this one's located on the south spawn of Cliff, and it's under the command of Jason Thomas of Havoc. Now, what can I tell you about the Hellcat? Well, it's one of the few American tank destroyers which is on its own original chassis. Most tank destroyers end up on a tank's chassis, but this one was unique and it's also quite fast. The actual Hellcats could go as fast as 92 kilometers an hour, but in the game the maximum speed is 72 kilometers an hour. And that's very, very fast, which makes these very deadly assassins, especially if they're armed with a top gun, which is a 90mm anti-tank gun. That can penetrate 160mm of armour and do 240 alpha damage. And remember, this is tier 6 and it's doing 240 alpha. Okay, he's up to the lookout in the south, overlooking the east side of the map. And I suspect he's going to probably fire at the centre line first. Okay. Excuse me. Right, it's looking towards the centre line. There's a few tanks making their way up the to the top of the cliff, to the lighthouse. A comet, which is probably not the best thing for a comet to do, because he's going to lose hit points. And I was about to say he's going to lose hit points. Well, he is losing hit points. And we've been joined by a VK3202M, and that's very unusual because you would normally expect a medium to go elsewhere. Okay, T-34-1 near the Western Pass comes into view briefly and then pulls back immediately. He's being targeted by Arty, so that's good news. Pops back into view, and oh, that's one of the problems with the gun. It does have a fairly slow velocity, which means long lead time. Fires around and then gets a good hit there. Now you can see this is the 90mm gun, but pretty slow. So you do have to think in advance and try and lead your targets. Now the VK3002M's decided there's not enough work for him down here, so he's decided to head north. Okay, that T-34-1 might come around the corner again. He's actually gone down into the dip for the moment, but probably anticipating taking shots at anyone who comes forward. And it looks like there's a KV, yeah, unfortunately that KV-85 was just too far forward. T-34-1 managed to get him. Sometimes it pays to look at your minimap, because if you do look at the minimap, you can see if there's an enemy vehicle nearby that could actually take you out. And now there's nobody on the east side, so the enemy's going to have free reign to come round the cliff, round the lighthouse, and attack us. And somebody's already pinging the map to that effect. I think it's the M44 who's noticed this. And Arty does tend to notice this sort of thing because we pay attention to our minimap. Good shot there on the P43, 266. That's a high roll. Trying to go for another shot. Oh, no chance. 7.33 seconds on the reload. That's quite a long time. But he's got a couple of targets that are coming around now, and they're being intercepted by the VK3002M. But there's an AMX DLC and he's stationary. Oh, the shell goes over the top. Can he get the round in? I think so, but he's just got to hope it stays still. It doesn't. It moves off. Now, can he anticipate where it's going to go? No, that was wrong. It stopped. Reloading again. That worked. Now, the thing is, you haven't got an inexhaustible supply of shells with this vehicle. That's part of the problem. You need to be very careful. You've only got 45 shells maximum. 3601H is asking for a shell, but unfortunately there was something obstructing below the vehicle, and the round we fired just went slightly to one side. Yeah, I think it may be a wall actually. It's stopping us from shooting at the main body. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a wall. If we shoot, the shell should go through the wall. But that T-34-1 is now getting very close to us. And he's now dead. That was a lovely shot there. If they're coming towards you, it just makes it very easy to shoot them, even with a slow shell velocity. Now that Dicker Max is asking for trouble, and Arty's already after him. Now, can we get a shot in? Almost reloaded, and yes! Good shot! 114 hit points rather. Well below the alpha. And that BK is going to take at least 3 shots to kill. Got 2-1-2 off the first one, so low roll. He can get another shot in as soon as he's reloaded, and yes! 235, and he goes into that dip, which makes it difficult to shoot him, but he's still showing his turret. And he gets a shot in. 203, it's a low roll, but he can get him off the next one. Oh, well, maybe not. It may be 2 more shots to get him. Going for the top of the turret, the shell goes into the land, into the rocks, and he's now only showing the top of the turret and the cupola. And that round bounced off the cupola. You can see the green mark where it ricocheted off. And now he's gone back even further into the dip. It's even more difficult to shoot at him. He's at long range. Oh, but he got the shot. 144 hit points. That was a really good shot. He's only got 8 rounds of standard AP left. 2 rounds of APCR, 4 of HE. Now, the good thing about this position is you are just as capable of watching over the West Passage as you are to the east. But there doesn't appear to be any enemy left on the east side of the rocks, so we could come down and start attacking the enemy elsewhere. That Achilles is in an open position. Oh, and the shell went right over the top, and it did critical hit him, so it may have grazed the turret. And that one definitely hit him. 236, and he's picked up the high caliber. Now he's just got to maintain the fire rate, and the Achilles has been killed, so he missed out on the kill there. He's up at 4 kills already. That would have been a 5th. He's got a win rate of 4774 at the moment. The enemy's got 1 Arty, 1 tank destroyer, and 1 medium tank left. The tank destroyer is going to be the problem. It's an 82. Got pretty tough armor. The M4 shouldn't be a problem, and the M44, well, it's probably the best Arty in the game, but with a very fast fire rate, but we haven't heard much from that one. And of course he's got no kills, so maybe he's not as good as all that. There's the 82, and he's about half strength, half his hit points left. The M4 is 100%, so he's going to be a little more difficult to kill, probably 2 or 3 shots. The 82, well, we might have to use APCR for him. He's going very wide around here. He doesn't want anyone to spot him. He wants to pop up in a position whereby he can do some damage. And the 82 has been taken out. Well, that's good. But it now means there's only 2 enemy remaining, so his chances of getting a top gun are slim. Just got to find where that M4's gone. And the T67 might locate him for us. He's got a nice little bush to hide in here. Mind you, he is going to be firing from fairly long range. There's a good likelihood that the M44 might be in grid squares A1 or A2. If he is, he's going to be out of sight. And you can see an Arty round arcing through the sky there from our M44. Now I wonder, is the M44 near the cap area? Oh, there's the M4! And has our 6th sense gone off? No, but I think he does know we're here. So we probably have been seen, and it might be that Jason doesn't have 6th sense. There's the M44, he's in the dip. And he's, oh, well, I don't know. I think he's going to get killed by the T67. We can't get a shot on the M4 yet. The T67 has taken out the M44, and we've killed the M4. And that means it's only 5 kills for Jason, but he has won the game. And I'm pretty sure there's a high caliber in there. So let's have a look at the end of battle results. And for some reason he didn't pick up the high caliber. He got a first class tanker, a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills, he got 5, and a fire for effect for doing more damage than the hit points of his own vehicle. There was no bruiser because he only managed to get 3 critical hits during that battle, but he did get a win rate of 5820, which is super unicum level. Very, very well played indeed. And of course he didn't really get a scratch during that entire battle. And that just goes to show how careful he was, and he used the M18's abilities to its fullest advantage. So let's have a look at team scores, see why he didn't pick up the high caliber. Well, the reason he didn't get the high caliber was the IKV-65 must have stolen it from him some point during the game, because the IKV-65 managed to get 2,245 basic hit points, whilst Jason Thomas only managed to get 2,182. So he was only a short way behind, but he must have had that high caliber stolen away from him whilst he was sitting up there on the heights, and the IKV just managed to sneak in there under the wire. So he's picked up the high caliber. When it comes to kills, though, it's definitely Jason Thomas who's managed to get the highest amount. He managed to get 5 kills. The highest the enemy got was their Dickomax, got 3 kills. Of course, Jason dealt with that Dickomax quite nicely. In fact, the Dickomax was able to take out most of the his friendly tanks. Most of the tanks that actually went around the east side of the map, and of course then he met the enemy tanks coming the opposite way, and that's why the Dickomax score was so high. When it comes to base XP, again, it's Jason Thomas. 1,000 base XP wasn't enough for an ace tanker. This TD is played by a lot of people, and therefore if you want to get an ace tanker, you're going to have to do a lot better, maybe a top gun, maybe a high caliber, in order to earn enough experience points to get the ace tanker. But he did do very well, and he did beat the IKV-65 when it came to experience. He only managed to get 811, and the Comet managed 729 during that battle. Best that the enemy could do was their M4 Sherman that we took out. He managed to get 439. If you look at the detail report, he fired 20 rounds during that battle, 20 out of the 45 he had available, so he had 15 rounds left at the end of the game, and that shows he was getting good hits on the target. He actually got 13 direct hits, 11 penetrations. A few of the shots did go over the top of the targets he was aiming at, but that's down to RNG. He was firing at very long range. He did 2,182 hit points of damage, and 1,736 of that was at more than 300 meters. So if you factor in the fact that these shells are fairly slow, and of course he was having to lead some of the targets as well, you can understand why a few of those shells went astray. He fired at 7 of the enemy, damaged 7, killed 5, did damage assistance of 156 hit points. On a standard account, he earned 22,607 credits during that battle, and after the replenishment of the shells, which only cost him 5,100 because he was very careful not to use the APCR, just use standard standard AP during the battle, he actually took away 17,507 credits, which is very good, and he earned 1,000 base XP, but it was a ×4 weekend, so he took away 4,000 XP altogether, so a very lucrative battle for him. And I was very pleased to do this one for him because it was an interesting display of how the Hellcat performs with the 90mm gun. So if you're going to get one, you will probably have a lot of fun with it, because it's very much like the T67. It's one of those terrors that can absolutely monster the enemy, and Jason did very well to get 5, but he probably would have got the 6 if the T67 hadn't been after that M44, but 5 is still good. So if you enjoyed this replay, please give it a like and do subscribe to our channel, and hopefully it'll be your replay that I'll be featuring in the next video.